again, everybody. It is Drew White with Access Support County, and along with me is Eric Williams, Assistant Director of the Special Events Department for the City of Michigan City. And coming up this Friday at Washington Park, it is the 4th annual Singing Sands Sand Sculpting Festival. Eric, you guys survived 4th of July. You've survived the Patriotic Parade. On to sand sculpting.
On to sand sculpting, Drew. Been a busy couple of weeks for us in the Special Events Department. A fun couple of weeks, though. Very exciting with everything we've had going on, and we're getting into the bulk of the freight train here. So excited to get Singing Sands going and keep the ball rolling.
And again, everyone knows Terry. Terry is very passionate about all of the events that he has done, but I know that over the past 4 years, this is an event that's very near and dear to Terry's heart.
Yeah, absolutely. This is one, Terry will tell you, it's something he's wanted to do around here for years. And it's such a unique event, getting to bring these sculptors in from across the country and watching them turning from people that we're meeting to people we've worked with to friends we haven't seen in a while. I know this one, for all of us, has a spot close to our hearts. And it's definitely, Terry won't flat out say it's his favorite, but I'm pretty sure that it is.
And I think one of the things that's so special about it is that, I think we sometimes take for granted the assets that we have available to us here in Michigan City. And sometimes when people say beach in Indiana, they don't realize just how beautiful our beach is.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we have sculptors that come from California, Texas, Washington, all over the country, and they come here to Michigan City, they see our beach, and they tell us how beautiful this is. They didn't expect this to be here in Indiana, and it truly is one of the most beautiful beaches in the country. And we get told that, between the Sand Sculpting Festival, the boat races, all these people that come from all over the country here truly, love the beach that we have to offer.
Sure. And so it is coming up this Friday, July 18th. It runs Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. until 8 p.m. Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit about the newest version of the sand sculpting contest.
So this year we have increased our number of sculptors, actually. Among the sculptors that we have coming back for a 4th straight year, we have Christy Atkinson out of Franklin, Texas, Bruce Peck out of St. Louis, Missouri, Lori Torno out of Navarre, Ohio, Bert Adams from Yacolt, Washington. It's Bert's 3rd year with us. Brian Obermeyer comes back for his 2nd year. Emerson Schreiner makes his 2nd appearance, and newcomers Albert Lucio of Austin, Texas, and June Park from San Diego, California. Those are the master sculptors. And for our semi-pros, we have Scott Triplett of Grand Rapids, Michigan, Janet Schrader of Lakeside, Michigan, Mark Wilson coming from Statula, Florida, and Dottie Wilson of Melvin, Michigan. All of them, this is their 4th year participating, which I think says something that these people want to continue to come here to Michigan City. 3rd appearances for Lane Lee of Toledo, Ohio, and Bob May of St. Clair Shores, Michigan. 2nd appearance for Jordan Denam of Port Huron, Michigan, and Ben Reed of Greentown, Indiana. And Randy Tackett of Grand Rapids, Michigan will be here for the first time this year. So as I say that list, and again, we talk about people coming from Texas, Michigan, Florida, Washington, it's really cool to see these people coming from all over. And again, we start Friday, July 18th, and we're going to go through Sunday, July 20th, and it's going to be a great time.
And again, Bill and Marianne Knight that run the Sand Lovers, who work very closely with you guys to operate these. They operate competitions throughout the country. Port Huron, Michigan, where you had mentioned, some of the sculptors are from. Manitowoc, Wisconsin, and Fort Myers Beach, Florida. That is the American Sand Sculpting Championship, I believe. Mm-hmm. But, this is a national circuit that, again, they are looking forward to coming to Michigan City at this point.
Yeah, nationally, it's not something that we just do here. These people travel the country and they do this, and it's when you start to really learn the intricacies of it, it is actually a very fascinating process of these sand sculpting competitions, of just how much time and effort and commitment these artists have.
Right, and the Sand Sculpting Festival traditionally had been held earlier in June, but this year, through a variety of reasons, we moved it to later July. But I think one of the things that we're really hoping for, the last couple of years, the weather has been decent, but there's usually been at least one time through the weekend where it wasn't decent.
Yeah, Mother Nature's had a couple periods where she decided that she didn't want to have a sand sculpting competition, so we're hoping that between the move to July for weather is actually going to give us a solid 3 days of no rain, no ridiculously strong winds coming off of Lake Michigan, and just a good weekend to be out and have some fun together.
And again, you get to see these creations come to life, but there's other opportunities. There are going to be food trucks, there are going to be vendors, and really the cool part about this is that you really are able to get up close and personal with the people that are creating these sculptures.
Yeah, absolutely. As you're going out and taking a look at them, they're open to answering questions, having conversations. Sometimes they put their headphones on when they got to kind of lock in. It is a competition, so points still have to lock in, but they're happy to have conversations and answer questions about the sculptors, how long they've been doing this, all that type of stuff. And again, to touch on the food trucks, we're going to have about 9 food trucks out there, and I believe that we are finishing at about 50 art, craft, and merchandise vendors.
Okay.
So.
And Friday is Community Day. I believe it is free admission to everybody, correct?
Yes, yep. Friday is free admission to everybody that comes out. Saturday and Sunday is only $5 to enter, and children 6 and under are free with a paying adult. So I don't know where you can get entertainment like this for $5 a person, but it's it's a good deal in my opinion.
And again, also remember you do have to park at Washington Park, so big advantage if you have the parking stickers and everything like that.
Absolutely.
But talk a little bit more about just the weekend as a whole. And I think one of the things I remember from last year is that you had the gentleman out there with the steel drum. It's a very tropical type atmosphere out there.
Yeah, it is. We're going to have Ken Arnsberger out there again with the tropical drum, kind of setting the vibe out there, give you the beachy feel while you're out there enjoying it. We also will be having the quicksand speed sculpting show, as you may recall. It's done on the sand stage. It is basically an NCAA tournament style elimination tournament where they get their topic. They don't know what they're sculpting. They'll find out when they get on the stage, and somebody from the audience will give them the topic. They have a couple of minutes to be able to create it, and the winner is actually just decided by audience vote. So they'll have the audience applaud for who they think should advance, and that'll go on starting Friday, and then Sunday we'll actually crown the winner of that. Beyond that, we do also have the return of the Community Challenge. We'll be giving money back to local LaPorte County charities. Among those, just to name a few, we have Meals on Wheels, Michiana Humane Society, I know is going to be out there. We're still working on finalizing the list, but there's going to be quite a few out there this year, so that's going to be bigger than it's been in the past, and we're just excited to get out there and have fun with everybody.
So make sure that you come out on Friday. Now, the thing, I think that first year, I think some people kind of thought, you know what, I'm going to wait until Monday morning and I'll go check it out afterwards. That way I don't have to pay, but everything. But all of these creations, as much work as is put into it, they are all taken down on Sunday night. So if you want to see the sculptures, you've got to make sure that you come out on Sunday.
Yeah, it's partially due to the fact that it's a ticketed event, but it's also a little bit of a safety concern to just leave those out. They do use a mixture of water and glue, so when you look at the sculptures, they're actually very, very hard, rock solid. Again, at the end, you've probably seen our volunteer photo where we stand on top of the sculpture and everything, so we just don't want to leave them out there and have people try to break them apart themselves, and as a safety concern.
So I know that on the special events Facebook page, you are introducing all of the master sculptors and the sculptors that you are going to see out there. So if you guys want to get some information about who you'll be able to see at this coming weekend's Singing Sand Sculpting Festival, make sure you follow Michigan City Special Events. And so we've got Sand Sculpting Festival this weekend, and in a couple weeks it gets really, really busy with the Great Lakes Grand Prix.
Great Lakes Grand Prix, and as you know, it's race week. There's tons to do for the entire week between the golf outing, the races themselves, the block party. A lot that is just an amazing week that we have here in Michigan City. And
we will have all that information that you need to know for the Great Lakes Grand Prix here on This Week in LaPorte County in 2 weeks. But make sure you go out this weekend and check out the Singing Sand Sculpting Festival at Washington Park, July 18th, 19th, and 20th from 10 a.m. until 8 p.m. Eric, want to thank you for stopping by and sharing the information. And until next time, I'm Drew White.